Why LinkedIn is the hidden gem for podcasts.
Most of your content within your podcasts will be evergreen.
The key to help with success on LinkedIn is filming your podcast, being visible, being seen, not just being heard.
In a 30-minute episode, you could get up to 50 pieces of content because you're not going to say one great thing. You're probably going to say a minimum of 5 great things.
LinkedIn lets you do articles. LinkedIn lets you do newsletters. LinkedIn lets you do short form clips. LinkedIn lets you do long form videos. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Be the Hero of Your Brand. I'm Ben.
And I'm Rachel.
And we are in our brand new studio space.
Well, we've been in the space a while, babe.
We have. We're
in a new layout.
Yeah. We've decided to go for a sofa setting.
Whoa. I was sat in there the other day and all there was lots of scraping and huffing and puffing, and then you were like, look at this, ta-da.
Well, I thought I'd change it up. I mean, the boardroom was nice and all, but I thought I'd have something a bit more loungy. We've got our snug next door, but having a nice lounge sofa-y area, we can have up to 5 people in this space quite comfortably.
Easily if you weren't manscaping.
Not manscaping. Just can't put my knees together. But
I'm not commenting. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so this is it. This is now a new space.
Oh, you moved the banner as well.
Oh, yeah. That's just so I had something to show off YVT Studios.
Yes, cool. Be nice when I've got someone sat next to me.
Oh, that's
I
it.
look a bit bare over there at the moment.
We want people to come and join us. Maybe we'll have to bring some teddies in to sit in the empty seats.
Teddies.
We've got loads of them at home.
Yeah, that's not the point.
Things from our house moving to the office.
No, it's been made abundantly clear to us we're not allowed to move in here. Despite the fact the new sofa next door that the Bookkeepers podcast have ordered and has been delivered here is a sofa bed.
Yeah.
It's very nice. I was a bit like, this is...
Oh, it just means we can have afternoon naps.
Right then. Come on, Em. What do you want to... You're like, I've got a topic. Let's do it.
Yeah, so I thought I'd talk about LinkedIn.
Okay.
And how you can use your podcast for LinkedIn.
Makes sense. I did wonder because I thought, oh my God, are we pivoting the business again?
Oh, no. We're not going to be LinkedIn specialists. But I think people see podcasts are just on YouTube, just on Apple Podcasts, just on Spotify. They're not used on other social media platforms as much as what they could be or utilised to be.
Okay.
And I thought it'd be worthwhile kind of sharing how you could use it, like what you could do to kind of use it. So, I asked good old ChatGPT for some discussion points, maybe what people are considering or not realised before. So
come on in, hit me. Because what I love about our roles within YVT is that we have very different roles, and so actually our thinking and our mindset on that actually changes and can allows the thought of, like you say, how to use a podcast grows, because you'll go down one route and I'll go, yeah, but you can also do it this way. And then that's how the business has obviously grown and developed. So come on in, what's your...
Well, it's also how LinkedIn can support the podcast to get more eyes on it and stuff as well. So
yeah, because I have a very love-hate relationship with LinkedIn.
Do you?
So I'm interested to see how you're going to make me love it. Over my love-hate.
Well, I was kind of hoping to hear your points on what the discussion points, talking points that have been put forward. So why LinkedIn is the hidden gem for podcasts. So podcast platforms are for listeners, but LinkedIn is where your audience talks back. Now, this is something that I've seen personally with some of our content, is that we do get a lot more interaction, especially when it's a professional service podcast. So for us, for some of our partners as well, they get more response on LinkedIn than they do on almost any other platform.
When you say a professional service podcast, do you mean in that sense the one that is aimed at business? So we talk podcasting on our podcast, whereas something like a Mr. Beast podcast, which is entertainment, isn't going to do well on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's not going to be the content that people who are on LinkedIn are looking for. They're looking for ways to improve business, get more customers, get more visibility, be put forward as the authority.
Yeah. Okay.
Where using your podcast on LinkedIn and vice versa, your LinkedIn for your podcast, it does make you more of that authority person. It does put you across as the guy who knows, or the woman who knows all about what they're talking about.
Obviously, I didn't know what you were going to come up with today. You were just adamant we need to record some stuff, which we do, and that's why we're here. So, but that being said, then we have a lot of conversations with people. That's where I thrive. But even when we're together and we're networking or we're at events together, that's where we thrive. And people say, "Oh, you should put this down. You should run a course on that." And we're like, "Oh my God, the thought of doing that and running," when actually capturing those conversations, which is what podcasting can be, capturing those professional conversations where we're supporting people in that sense and then putting that on the professional platform is exactly what.
Yeah, and talking about it being a professional platform, it's where also the B2B kind of content can go a lot more viral organically. Where you go on YouTube, it's more of that entertainment content, or it's that fun content on TikTok. It's on Instagram. Again, those reels that really hit it and go viral are a lot more of the fun entertainment, maybe family style stuff, where on LinkedIn, the viral content is where somebody's actually learned something and helped someone and has progressed. So it's interesting to see how, again, service-based podcasts can shine differently on LinkedIn than they can compared to other platforms.
And I think it's about, as well, like when we talk about podcasts and things like that, a lot of people will automatically, if you talk about podcasting, the very first one, and we do it all the time, the very first one we talk about is Diary of a CEO, which is a professional podcast in that sense. Stephen interviews businesses and gets their story. Not always businesses, again, that sort of...
But it's always someone who can teach, isn't it?
Yes, there's a lot of learnings involved in it. And it's evolved and changed, and sort of we've spoken recently about there's been a lot of changes. You can see with the dynamic of it where he was going and actually how it's coming back to its more original formatting.
Yeah, and he's making natural changes. He's making more roundtable discussions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But again, it's for the right audience, and his stuff is blowing up on LinkedIn because it is for that audience.
But I think actually the mistake we make is comparing to Steven Bartlett.
Yeah.
The amount of times now that we meet people who are celebrities in our eyes, not a celebrity by the public celebrity status.
Someone you have high esteem for in your industry, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And it's like you do have those ambitions to be like or be similar to, or you compare yourself to maybe. And it's those things and be like, wow, if only we could be like that. How do I get to that? How do I get in that circle? And those sorts of things. And actually look at podcasts like that. They're the ones that we turn around and say, well, who in your industry or in a professional industry has a podcast or has a content that you're like, wow, I wish my content was like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've seen loads of people mimicking Steven Bartlett, and it helps, it supports. But as soon as they see they're not Steven Bartlett, that it goes, oh, that's Steven Bartlett. Oh, no, it's not Steven Bartlett. And it plummets. When actually, if you look at someone and go, wow, I really like their podcast. And it's exactly like I said, what the Bookkeepers podcast did with us. They sent us, or when we had our discussion with them, they brought to us 3-4 different podcasts. We said, right, what do you like from that one? What do you like from this? And some of it was look, some of it was setup.
How they write the titles, editing, descriptions.
Yeah. And again, they're still finding more that they like. So that you'll see like little changes. If you follow their podcast, you'll see little changes that are tweaks and amendments coming in where we are taking all those bits, but making it theirs.
Yeah.
So that they become one, bookkeepers are cool and they have wicked stories and they're not boring like they always tell us they are, but also I want my podcast to be like them.
Yeah.
The amount of people walk in, like they're set up now because we've got them with us soon. And people walk in and go, I want that. And we go, we can't have that. That's a great example. Great. You like that. What else do you like? What else, So it's that sense. Find the celebrity in your in. Be the celebrity in your industry.
Find the inspiration. And it isn't just the celebrity in your industry. It's who's succeeding in other industries as well, isn't it?
Be the celebrity in your industry. Sorry, not look for the celebrity.
And the key to help with success here on LinkedIn is video, filming your podcast, being visible, being seen, not just being heard. And that's making it, especially now with the newer features on LinkedIn where they're pushing the short form content. Almost copy is almost gone on their video content.
Oh, you put out a video yesterday, maybe today, and I clicked it because you've been putting out loads of stuff that I haven't been aware of. You were like, I'm on it, I'm doing LinkedIn, it's going to be my thing. And I'm like, great, because I tend to do our Instagram. So, but I clicked on the video and was like, what's this one he's made? Oh, could I get the caption up? Could I, Ek? It was hard work. And then when I got it up, you were still mumbling at me in the background. And I was like, oh, I need it without the sound. I just want to read this now.
Yeah,
I've watched the video. I now want to know the content.
I think that's my question to the audience is like, what do you find is working on LinkedIn when it comes to your video content? Are you finding that captions aren't as important? Before, they were so important because people wouldn't watch the video. They'd read the captions because they're at work. They're trying to get on with stuff quietly. So they wouldn't necessarily watch the video, but they would read the captions to find out what the information is, what the learnings is. But it's another step in the video process. Whether they've done the TikTokification on LinkedIn, it's now a harder thing to see that sort of stuff.
The TikTokification.
That's the word.
Cool. Okay, cool. What's next?
So next is kind of what is the not to do's on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Have you got any what not to do's?
I'm not a caption reader, and not a caption reader. That's not true. I will look at a caption, but blow me down if I press see more and it takes up. I'm out. I'm not reading paragraphs.
Yeah, I think,
and especially not big bulky paragraphs. Like, respectfully, do one.
Yeah, make it easy. Make it easy to read.
If that was 10 single lines, or like, I suppose 2 lines, like 10 single, I would probably do that.
Yeah,
which is what you're seeing most of.
What I'm testing out at the moment is kind of informing people what we do in almost every post. Have that. At Your Video Team, we help businesses get seen and heard through video podcasting. Kind of comment on there.
Oh, you have it under, like you have the wiggly lines and then yeah. That. So you'll have like this post is about blah, and then underneath, then you have your wiggly lines because we love a wiggly line. Underneath that is a standard.
Well, yeah, it's kind of making it so people know what we have to offer. Because we're looking to target the right audience with the content.
Yeah, it's really...
So if we just inform the right audience what we do, and I think this is for something that from Andrew and Pete is, they tell us it's like every day you're selling, you've got to be selling. If you're not selling, you're not going to succeed. And it's a mentality that we've had of, oh, we can't sell, it's too pushy, it's too this, it's not what people want to hear. Well, actually... it is, because what we're doing is not selling to people, we're helping people. We just can't help for free. Really. That's what it is. But as long as they get a reasonable outcome from what they're paying, or their outcome is what they expect and what we deliver is what they need and want, then we've helped them very well, and it's great.
Yeah, I think, and again, I think you'll often see when I write stuff and say stuff to people, is like, how can I support you? What can I do? And the problem is that sometimes comes across as like, oh, she's going to help us for free. And then I fall into that trap, and then I'm like, oh God, I really do want to help you, but I can't afford to help you for free. And you're stuck in that really awkward, like, so either they don't ask anymore or I don't, when actually they probably are willing to pay, a nominal amount to be like, and I could accept like on the smaller jobs. And we had it the other day, didn't we, where we've done a video for the lovely Teresa Dupay, and she was struggling to upload it. It was the original file size was for her website, but she needed to upload it to another website, but that only accepted under like 20 meg.
Tiny.
Oh my God,
tiny.
So small. So she needed all the video reformatted for that, which obviously was a bit of work for you because you had to amend some things to make sure that in that reformatting it didn't distort the content. And again, like I kind of go, yeah, of course we can do that. And then you went, well, how much are we charging? And I was like, oh no. I just sort of said yes, because we can do it.
We can do it.
Again, she's lovely, and she knew straight away, or she straight away said, how much is this? Because she gets business.
Yeah.
So it wasn't then that awkward discussion and we going, oh, we can do it, but it's this much. And again, like, but now I do know is going, of course we can do that. It's going to cost between
Yeah,
it's
definitely
really hard.
Yeah, but if we're making people aware with everything that we do, that it's going to cost something.
Now that you're doing that, when people come to me and say, oh, I saw Ben talking about this, or, my videos are getting.
Yeah. And they know that
they
know that we're the best at creating video podcasts for people. So they know that what they're going to pay for is going to be worth it because we're talking about it all the time. But what it says, one thing what not to do is to drop a link in the post.
Yeah, I've seen this all the time. Like people will go links in the comment and then they like pin that link to the top sort of thing.
Yeah, which is more successful than just putting it in the copy straight away because LinkedIn does suppress that. But I think what should be taken advantage of is your profile. Because the first thing they're going to really click on is who you are and want to look at what you do. And then from your profile, how are you linking back to your podcast from there? What are you doing with your podcast? Like, why just have it as a link as well?
Well, it should be LinkedIn. A feature on your page, and it should be within the links at the top that you can have on your profile, right? Like your bio links.
Yeah, you can do that in your bio. You can have featured section to take advantage of where you can put new episodes on there all the time. But why not put it on LinkedIn as a live? Pre-recorded, use software like StreamYard, Restream, something like that. And then you can have it go out as a live direct onto the platform so people can find it there. LinkedIn, again, is pushing more and more live content. It's informing your audience a lot more. Especially if you're doing it like just starting doing live videos, it's pushing it a lot like it used to do with newsletters, a lot more to your wider audience, even the people who haven't pressed the notify me kind of stuff, to see if it can get more traction on it. So it is a benefit to maybe share it as a live video direct on LinkedIn. It doesn't need to stay on there. You can take it down after a while and then link to your YouTube channel, your Spotify or other platforms if you wish, but there's definitely ways to use different sections.
And we used to do this, didn't we, for when we used to manage Quietly Confident podcast.
Yeah.
So Patience used to go live fortnightly, and she used to run her podcast. It would live stream across YouTube, Facebook and LinkedIn all at the same time through, like you say, one of the streaming platforms like StreamYard or something. And again, like the interaction of it was so much more because people would comment as it was happening,
and they get a quicker response as well.
So because at the end of the day, like so many times have I seen like, and I know they're slightly different, but you're on webinars and people are obviously dropping comments in the box in the chat, and you can't necessarily get to those comments, or you miss something, and it's tough.
You get so many. It's hard to keep on top of your comments. Throughout.
And it's tough, and you're trying to answer that. Whereas by pre-recording, but then being available to watch as the live as the comments go, you can be like on it, like recording. I mean, I'd even go as far as you can stream your recording live when you're recording it live as well.
Yeah, and that's something I've considered doing for us ourselves. Is like, do we just set up the Blackmagic, have the cameras going? The hard thing for us is that I'm the editor, So doing a live edit while pretty much it'll have a.
Well, it'll probably just be that wide angle, right?
Might just be the wide angle, yeah. Ooh, hello wide. Like for our partners, I can do that in house, and we can have live streams going straight out, which is again another great thing to take advantage of. Where if you come here, you can do that.
Especially if you've got a producer, like we've done that where whilst again our partners are live, you're editing, but I'm then sat there monitoring comments.
Yeah.
And I've got like a whiteboard and I'm like, and then showing them the whiteboard with the question on.
Yeah. Or we can use a screen if it's like research is needed. We can do screen grabs and stuff like that and share them as well.
And we've done that where when I'm interviewing people, when I'm doing a pre-record interview, although it's live, obviously it's live for us at the time, but there's questions that come up. You can put them on the screen as I'm interviewing someone if I'm doing it online and things like that. So,
definitely.
So many ways.
So many ways.
So many ways.
So next is, how can you use your podcast to fuel your LinkedIn content?
Oh, that's easy. That's easy for me. Like, because that's what I do. So I take a transcript from a podcast and I turn that into all of your content. And when I say all, I mean posts, carousels, newsletters, email campaigns, blogs, polls, Q&As.
Short form clips.
Yeah, all of that. Everything. Like,
if you're thinking about what you need for your marketing, you need website content. So your blog, your newsletter. LinkedIn lets you do articles. LinkedIn lets you do newsletters. LinkedIn lets you do short form clips. LinkedIn lets you do long form videos. LinkedIn lets you do infographics. LinkedIn lets you do carousels.
Polls.
Lets you do polls.
Do Q&As? It does, doesn't it? Like you question and then you can, I suppose there's like a poll. You set it up like a poll instead.
Or you can just be going, ask me anything kind of content.
Yeah.
It allows you to do a lot of things that helps grow you as a business.
The biggest
as
thing,
a brand. The
biggest thing with all of this is making all your content interactive.
Yeah.
There is no point going, so we do podcasts and that's it. Or did you know, you did one the other day, did you know that to get to 1%, you have to get past episode 23?
Get to 21.
Get to episode 21 and you're in the top 1% of podcast creators. You put that out there. Now, that is somewhat interactive because some people will go, oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah. Or they go, oh, I'm really nearly there.
Yeah. But there's no direct call to action on that. There's no specific thing for them to. So some people will go, oh, cool, and keep scrolling. They won't even like it. Whereas you could, even if it's just saying, one I've seen lately is, because let's take that fact exactly.
90% of people don't get to episode 3. 90% of that 10% don't get to episode 20. So if you get to 21, you're in the top 1% of podcasts.
So let's take that exact fact. Yeah. So you've discussed it in your podcast. You've put out a short about it. So now what you're going to do is you're going to do the simplest of interactive posts where you're going to say, if you've got to episode 3, you're between episode 1 and 3 and you're in that first 90%, give me a heart. If you're within episode 4 to 20 and you're in that next 90%, or you're in that top 10% of the 90, however you word it, give me a care, which is the person hugging a heart. If you've beaten it and you're in the top 1% of podcasters, give me a celebration, which is the green clappy hands. So no one's got to comment. No one's got to do anything. But what people are going to do is go, oh, I can do that. Think that's where I am. Think that's where I am. If you haven't got a podcast yet, give me a thumbs up.
Yeah.
If you haven't got one but want to create one, give me a light bulb. Because do you know what you're going to do? You're now going to get all of those people doing those simple interactions, and they will do it because it's so, so simple. And then that's going to throw your algorithm, and people, And LinkedIn's going to go, we like this one. Let's push that out a bit further. So you're going to keep getting those interactions. But also, you're now going to be a really good person. And you're going to go on there. And the first people you're going to go to is who light bulbed me. Who light bulbed me? Because I'm now going to reach out and be like, hey, thanks so much for giving us the light bulb. Look, if you need any support with your podcast, here I am. Let's book a call. And let's say you've got 5 people. Let's say one of those books, let's say 3 of those book a call, and then one of them becomes a client. Great. That's a win, right?
Definitely is a win. That's obviously a simple post that you can do, which has come from the episode. I guess my question to you is once you've recorded your episode,
yeah,
once you've made the content, is that it? That week is done. You've done that week.
What are you about?
It's never to be used again.
No. I know why you're asking me these questions, but I still want to slap you for knowing the answer. Because I know you know this answer, and I know you're asking it on behalf of people. So I apologise now that I feel angry at you. I really do. No. So out of one piece of content, out of one podcast, we say you could get up to 50 pieces of content. So in a 30-minute episode, because you're not going to say one great thing, you're probably going to say a minimum of 5 great things.
Well, hopefully we're going to hit our first soon.
It's got itchy nose. So hopefully out of that, there's going to be 5 key points that you're going to touch on that something can be going on. But they're also all going to be evergreen, right?
Yeah,
as well.
Ideally.
So, and in a world where today we've got so many, you've got obviously, we're in Pride Month, you've got International Women's Day in March, you've got the normal holidays like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, things like that. But utilize those as well. So if we were sat here doing a podcast being like, I'm so, and I'm going to go American because it's easy for me right now because that's where my brain's at. But I'm so thankful for these studios, and the reason we've got here is because of this, this, and this. And we're recording that in June. Well, guess what? In November, when it's Thanksgiving, I'm going to put out my short about being thankful. What am I thankful for in business? That. And in that podcast episode, it may well be that I put a snip within it, but what I'm going to do on my socials is I'm going to go, oh, wow. Do you remember when I was talking about how thankful I was for having the studios and how they're being used in the way I want them to be used? Well, here's that clip. Want to hear anything? I want to hear more on that. Watch the full episode now. So 6 months later, my episode that I recorded in June is being gone back to. It's an evergreen episode. Most of your content within your podcasts will be evergreen. Okay, it's 5 months. Don't be pernickety. Yeah. Okay, but I might not come back to it until 17 months' time.
Yeah.
When it's,
But it's still relevant.
Still relevant.
Year and a half later, yeah.
And remember that things like Google are twinned with YouTube, and they obviously read blogs and everything like that. So from an optimized point of view, if in 3 years' time, someone turns around and says is randomly Googling and is thankful for business, you just don't know that podcast might be put in front of them because the captions and the subtitles within it have been picked up by Google and said, oh, thankful for business, you need to listen to this person or that post. And the more you've got on that topic, the more of my content that's going to be shown in front of that person. So, oh, hey, Rachel, or your video team did a podcast on that. They've also got a blog on that. They've also got a post on that. They've got a carousel on that. And they're going to show it all. And Instagram is about to be having its stuff read by Google as well.
It's being discoverable on Google.
Yeah,
quite right. But coming back to LinkedIn.
Oh, right. Yeah, coming back to LinkedIn.
Stop getting overexcited and talk about other topics.
I know, but I get all I know this for shizzle.
I think what is very powerful, people don't realise, is the authority that it gives you. Like we said at the start of the episode or earlier on in the episode, at some point, I'm sure we said it today. It makes you the authority on your subject, makes you the go-to person on your subject. You build an audience on LinkedIn because you know what you're talking about on it and people want to learn from you. But that also opens up the door a lot more to the power of the guest as well. So the stronger authority that you show on your topic means that you can get somebody who is a lot more of a bigger pool.
Yeah.
You get to pull in bigger people because you are showing yourself as that authority on your subject. So the next person up, so those people that you dreamed of being are a lot closer to being with you and on you, and a direct learn from by having them on your episodes, on your podcast. Because you have put yourself out there every day on LinkedIn using the power of your podcast. People will know you have a podcast. People will know that you know what you're talking about, and people will be excited to share their stories or their learnings with you for your audience.
And also, being that authority figure is going to have people invite you to their podcast as well.
Yeah.
I mean, recently I was looking at Daniel Priestley. Like we've been looking at people who were like, who do we feel are amazing people that should have a podcast and should be getting their shit out there, right? And Daniel Priestley is one of those people who are like, wow, we should really reach out to him and say, Daniel, look, we believe you could have a podcast that would do amazing. Look at all these supporters, look at all these people that follow you and that. However, I mean, Daniel, if you are watching and you do want a podcast, please do get in touch. However, I'm also very mindful that he has already put himself, and he calls it a key person of influence, and he is very much an authority figure in his industry, so much so that he is invited to everybody's podcast.
Yeah.
So he now has all the content he needs through everybody else's podcast.
And he's reaching a lot more audience through that process, which is... And he does share a lot of content. Okay, he doesn't have a podcast, but he does put a lot of content out into the world.
In a everyday social sort of thing. Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah, I think, but a lot of the content that he's putting out there are clips of him on podcasts, on other people's podcasts.
And if it's not a clip, it's something he's said on a podcast. Again, he's reformatted and said, again, I'm sure he's got his production crew with him, or he's got his team with him when he's at these podcasts. And someone, you do it when you're working with the bookkeepers. You make notes of key things that they've said that are important. And you're like, right, you need to delve deeper into that, or you need to, and that's part of the production process. But I'm sure he's got someone on his team listening and it's like, oh, Daniel said this. That was really good. Right, I'm going to talk to the team and we're going to make a post about that. And we're going to make a blog about that. And they'll link it back to that podcast, or want to hear more on this. It will link somewhere that, again, will continue to reaffirm Daniel as the authority figure, but also... Not only this isn't just about showcasing you on a podcast. What's your business?
Yeah.
Like, our business is podcasting, so it's very strange for us because we go, don't just talk about your podcast on your podcast. Ultimately, that's what we do.
And don't talk about just your podcast on your marketing.
No. But what we do with, and we're obviously using them very much so as an example today of the Bookkeepers podcast, but everyone we say to them, like, we know what their overarching goal is for the year. We know them by month as well, if there's any miniature goals in that, like, oh, we've got this coming up, any launches. We know all of those aspects. So we can say, right, your call to action on this one is go and sign up to this. Or you can find more on that information on this membership, on our membership. Baz and Loz are another great one. We knew that they had their stress retreat coming up in the last time we were filming. So we said, okay, so this episode is about identifying burnout. And one of those burnout aspects is stress. And how do you deal with stress and the tools of managing stress? Oh, hey ho, you've got a stress retreat coming up. Granted, in relation to the evergreen aspect that we just spoke about, if I tune in 3 years later and go, well, it's not their retreat on the 12th of July 2025 is now null and void because I'm 2028. that isn't a bad thing, because it could be that person goes, oh, they ran a stress retreat after this. Are they still doing those?
Yeah.
Where are they? They're on their website.
Well, it's also keeping those older videos and stuff updated as well, because you can always re-edit them and put the new dates. Oh, you missed this one. Don't worry, we've got a new one coming up. There's a point on here how to turn these conversations into, or these comments into conversations. And that's where that right there.
This is where this is all stemmed from today, isn't it? This is who I have to blame for today's conversation. The wonderful Louise Brogan, who I'm just going to open to the first page, who wrote, "To Rachel, can't wait to see all your LinkedIn videos, Louise." It's slightly wrong because it's Ben that's been doing loads of videos and not me right now. But yeah, so Louise has the book, Raise Your Visibility on LinkedIn, and she is a LinkedIn specialist.
It is about how you can get those comments to conversations into sales, and it is definitely worth a read. It's a book I'm working through at the moment.
I was going to say, you can't give too much away because you're still thumbing through it.
Yeah.
But again, like...
Well, it's practical advice. So I had a conversation with Louise a couple of days ago, and it's amazing how simple advice is what you need to hear. And that's it. That's
really, like, you kind of go, oh yeah.
That's the motto with a podcast. We're all thinking, oh, how do we make it so great, so special, so fantastic? No, keep it simple, stupid. Give proper, genuine advice that's going to help someone out, and it will work.
You've got to look at all the different ways a podcast is going to help you, right?
Or help your audience.
Yeah, all of that.
Or help your guest. There's so many, or help your content.
And how can you make it do all of those things? This, don't get me wrong, every time we go to sit behind these mics, like, I love it, and then I dread it. Because I think, oh, what's the conversation? Is it going to be worthwhile? Is there any value in it? Like, that imposter syndrome for us comes in.
Yeah.
But sitting here and doing it has reaffirmed, I do know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, we are authority figures in our industry of podcasting. Although, because video podcasting, Louise, is a real thing, she'll know what I mean by that. But, like, but this is the thing, right? Is that hopefully there's going to be, there is no hope. There is value in this for you.
Yeah.
We've made sure of that. The conversation, the way you've led it, despite the fact I didn't know where it was going, there is value in this for you. There is value in it for us, because I personally, I do feel reaffirmed again. I'm like, oh, we do know what we're talking about. Well, like, we should be out there more. We should be sitting behind these mics more often. Let's do it. Like, that energy comes back. People also know we're easily reachable, right? You've literally just got to pick up the phone, drop us a DM and go, I've got a question. Can we have a call? I love a video call. Like, I love seeing people.
Check the links in the description. I'm sure there'll be something there that'll send you to us. Maybe even to our LinkedIn profiles.
Yeah. Ooh. But
full circle.
Oh, it's like he's thought it through. But those, so it's helped us personally, us as a business. Ultimately, it's helped you. There's been a little bit of shout out to other podcasts going on. So we've had the 6-Figure Bookkeepers. We've had Quietly Confident.
Stress Less, Live More.
Louise Brogan. Book.
Diary of a CEO, this little new upcoming one.
Don't worry about that one. All those things. So again, when I talk about how I can support for free, there you go. They're all there. They'll all be in the comments as well, I'm sure.
One thing we will be having in there is a chance to join our email list, because we're sending out emails every now and then. Terribly. And pretty much it is us going, this is what we've done wrong this week. And if you want to have a bit of, I don't know, I'd say a giggle, but probably stress out with us, come join our email list.
I cannot wait to get Vicky Hanley to come to our emails. So there you go. There's another shout out.
Well, that's it. That's the thing. Is like we are going to do a lot more of what we preach. We are going to do a lot more of what we say you can do, just to proof of concept, if nothing else. It is growing visibility. It is making us the hero of our brands. And if you want to get in touch with us, send us a message, leave a comment, or give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and all that jazz.
That was a lot of call to actions in there. Pick one call to action for people.
Join our email list.
Okay, cool. Happy?
Love ya.
Bye.
Bye. Give it away to the big wide camera.